are you?
Oh, you betcha.
Thank you.
I'll be your roam around here. People have questions and stuff.
Yeah. I'm going to just say one thing. Cooper told a fib to me. He said that, that in Springfield, Illinois, it wouldn't be hot. So it's, you know,
I
just left 95-degree weather in LA to come to 115-degree weather here. Okay, there you go. I'll speak louder. Okay, there you go. I couldn't eat.
I'm a loudmouth, so it's easy with me.
Yeah.
But welcome aboard here. Like I said, anybody, do not be shy out there. I'll come around, Rome, and get you the microphone so you can ask the questions, because there's a lot that he says that you don't know about Christine, for one, that you're going to learn here tonight. Now, what I was amazed at, you know, I just think he's Moochie for Christine, but how many of you guys knew he was in Flashdance? Raise your hand. He was a dancer. But Godzilla, did you ever see him in Godzilla with Matthew Broderick? Did you guys know he did that movie? There's a bunch of other ones to talk about, and tell them your film career there.
All right, we'll start off with the film career, and then we'll get to the fun Christine stuff. So there's a movie called The Lords of Discipline, which was my favorite film that I did. There was a movie called Flashdance, a little film in the 80s. And then there was Christine, obviously. Then there was a movie called Popcorn. Then there was a movie called Godzilla. And then I was lucky enough to star in a TV show called CSI Miami, where I play a bad guy. And it just keeps going on, and I kind of feel a little embarrassed ringing off my credits, but we'll get to those too, you know.
Any questions out of the gates here from anybody?
Oh, right off the bat, huh?
Yep. Well, we'll pop back and forth. We'll have a lot of fun. Just to let you know, we already have a challenge for you tomorrow, because we had Martin Towsley, who flew over the cruise downtown today. He's going to fly over tomorrow. But what he has suggested is dropping you into the crowd tomorrow. What do you think about that?
As long as there's a parachute.
There we go. A parachute.
Or a deep
you have a parachute in that red plane. And by the way, give it up to Martin Wisflave here at the cruise. You saw him flying over. Give him a great hand here. He's our official pilot from POWERLIGHT. Give him a great hand. Things they don't know about you, Malcolm Danare. What would shock them? You're a dancer, or you sing polka, or what's cool that we do not know?
Well, in Flashdance, I was the person who the water dropped on. It wasn't Jennifer. Kidding, just kidding. What they don't know about me. I am born and raised in Los Angeles, California. I don't know if I'm proud of that, but that's where I'm from. Then moved to New York for a long time. Was with my wife, not anymore. My favorite, I know you guys are going to get a little angry with me, but my favorite baseball team are the Dodgers. Can I hear it for the Dodgers? Okay, the Chicago Cubs.
Hey!
The St. Louis Cardinals?
Chickens. St. Louis chickens.
Okay, so there you go. I like Albert Pujols.
Yeah, he played for your team, so...
Yes, he did. He was a
credit on that.
Very likable guy.
Hobbies and things, when you're not doing movies, what do you like to do?
Hobbies and things. I played ice hockey for 17 years.
For the famous person, too, by the way.
I was a lucky guy. I got to do this thing called the Senior Hockey League, and what happened was that we got to play with I got to play with a lot of celebrities, and what these celebrities would do, we would go around to other cities, and we would get to play the alumni hockey players like Gordie Howe, Bobby Hall, Stan Mikita. I'm trying to say some Chicago names here for you guys. And I'm a huge, huge hockey fan. I played for a long time, hurt my shoulder, and quit my hockey career. And then I became an actor.
You played with Matthew Perry, is that what you said? Yeah.
I did play with Matthew Perry. I played with Michael Keaton. Played with some really, really fun actors. We had a good time. I mean, we got to seriously go all around the United States and play the alumni and the alumni hockey players. and it was fantastic. We really had a great time.
In your downtime, favorite movies you like to watch? Titanic, something like that? Greatest Showman, like I would do on a summer night?
You know, you're just going to make me say Titanic, so I like the Titanic. Leonardo is fantastic in it. A lot of favorite movies. You know, let's go back to like the 50s and the 40s. I love a movie called Giant that starred James Dean.
Oh, yeah, that's a classic, yeah.
Love that movie. Loved a movie called Ben-Hur. You know, I don't know if you guys remember, but there was an incredible chariot race in that movie. Then let's go up a little bit into the 70s. I really liked Apocalypse Now. I really liked all the Godfathers, except 3. 3 was kind of iffy. And then if you kind of go into the 80s, I really like I love the movie The Abyss. The Abyss was fantastic. It was a really fun film, and it was directed by James Cameron. So who did the Titanic?
Anybody out there question? Anybody want to raise a hand? Nope. Don't be frightened.
You can ask me questions.
Right, come on,
I'm a nice
guy.
Come
on over here.
What was it like for when you ran into the alleyway with Plymouth Fury being behind you the whole time?
Okay, so the question was, what was it like when I did the movie Christine and I was chased down the alleyway by the actual car? It was really scary. It was really scary because I actually did it myself. I actually did the whole thing myself. The only thing I didn't do in the stunt part was when the character climbs over the fence and then he falls down to the ground. That was a stunt guy. But me, I did everything else. So I was telling somebody a story tonight. If you watch the movie closely, I'm going to give you some secrets now about Christine. So when my character gets caught in the loading dock, and I kind of pull out a knife and go, "You're a dead man now," you know. So what happens is there's a wall behind me, and behind that wall was a bulldozer, and this bulldozer had a wire attached to it, and then this piece of wire went through my legs, and it attached to the Christine chassis. So out there, if you see a Christine car, there's a wire that's attached to the chassis. So when John Carpenter, the director, said, "Action," they pulled that car through this loading dock, and the actual car was the car that, like, it crunched the sides of the fenders, the front fenders, and this car came right at me. It stopped at around 3 feet away, but if that wire would have broke, I never would have had children, or I would have been cut in half, and I wouldn't be here right now. So that was kind of a neat secret about and it's actually really neat because if you watch the movie and you look down at the bottom of where that loading dock is and where my feet are, you will see 3 holes, and in one of those 3 holes, that's where that wire was. Pretty interesting. And there's another one. I'll give you another one. During the death scene, during the Moochie run scene. So there was a point where you see me running down a hill, and then what happened was John Carpenter is the type of director that he's a technical director. He really likes technical things. He kind of trusts the actors, which is really tough to do because we're kind of pain in the butts every once in a while. But you see me running down a hill, and there's a point where I could not hit a mark that John Carpenter needed me to hit. There was a certain mark where I stop. So what happens is we did this scene about 30 times. 30 times. And I finally said to John Carpenter, "Hey, let me just look down and find the mark instead of keep doing it over and over and over." So when there's one point, you'll see me kind of run. I'm running. I'm like this, and then I look down, and then I look up again. So look out for that. It's kind of neat because it's a secret that a lot of people don't know, and that's how we got that. That's how we got to that, filming that scene.
closing in on Folsom Prison 5, so we're trying to squeeze as much as we can. Anybody else got a question out there? We got one over here.
How many Christines got crushed in the movie?
That's a great
How many
question.
Christines got crushed in the movie?
So what I know that there were 21 Christines that were actually in the movie. In my presence, I saw 3 get crushed. And obviously there's a scene where the bullies, or the bad guys, which was myself, Moochie, and Buddy Repperton, and the 2 other bad guys, where we smashed the car to pieces, which I know a lot of people out here are really not happy about. But that's what we had to do. But there were 21 cars in the movie, and I do believe that after the movie was done, there might have been 3 left. And I heard from a reliable source today, and I did not know this, that I think Francis Ford Coppola might own one of those cars. That's what I heard, but I don't know.
Anybody else got one out there? We're gonna be. Oh, come back here. I'm coming. As fast as this 60-year-old can do. I'm gonna sprint.
On the trashing the car scene, did you guys get to do whatever you wanted to do, or did they make you do specific things to the car?
Fantastic question, again. So what John Carpenter did was he said to the 4 guys, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna run 4 different cameras on 4 different angles. And we're going to, and whatever you do not stop the scene. Don't stop the scene. And we just got freedom to smash the car wherever we wanted to. And here's another really interesting thing. So when you're watching us do the scene, when we're smashing the car apart, watch the point where I hit the car with I have a thing called a concussion hammer, which is a big rubber hammer. And I smashed the window. I smashed the window with the rubber hammer. And I'm the only idiot that didn't put gloves on during the scene. And glass went in between my hand and the hammer. So when you see me hit the glass and it explodes, all this glass went in between the handle of the hammer and my hand. And literally, I had to still do the scene. We couldn't cut. And when the scene was over, my hands were covered in blood, and my face was covered in blood. It was a really, really, really tough scene to do. It seems fun to smash a car apart, but it's hard. It really is hard. Try it one time.
My question is, you see these movies that have 19 sequels. Most of them are horrible. This was so set up at the end of the movie that, you're in the junkyard and the thing is uncrinkling again and the music's playing. Why did they never do a Christine sequel?
The thing is they're trying to do a reboot of the movie right now. I don't think that Stephen King or John Carpenter really wanted to do a sequel or a prequel. The production company Blumhouse is trying to do a reboot, but I think most of the Christine fans out there really do not want to see a reboot. I think Christine fans want to see a prequel or a sequel, not an actual remake of the movie again, because I don't think that there's anybody out there that would play the role of Moochie the way I did.
Things you want to do now? You still want to do acting? You want to start producing movies?
Thank you for asking that. I've been producing films right now. I've been writing.
Like what films? Anything we've seen?
Yeah, there's things out right now. I produced a really cool film called Amelia 2.0 a couple years ago. I produced a film that stars, I'm sure you guys all know John Schneider, Bo Duke, and he directed a film that I got to star in called Smothered, and that was with Kane Hodder, Bill Moseley, Don Shanks. It had all these really incredible horror people in it. So I got to produce that, and there's a TV show that I have coming out right now that I'm starring in called Night People, and that's going to be on Netflix, and it's about 2 aging werewolves. I get to play a werewolf in this thing. And so that's going to be fun. And it's with the actor John Kassir, who is the voice of the Crypt Keeper.
Last chance, any more? We got one here? Okay. Comment?
It really isn't that hot out here, is it?
Do you still keep in touch with any of the other actors from Christine?
I do. I still keep in touch with Buddy Repperton, who's Bill Ostrander. I still keep in touch with Stephen Tash, who is, he plays the role of Rich. I'm very good friends with Alexander Paul, who is the love interest to Arnie in the movie. And I still kind of talk to Keith Gordon every once in a while. And next year is the 40th anniversary. 40 years.
Wow, 40.
40 years we shot this movie, Christine. Who would have thought that 40 years later, it would turn into this really incredible cult film? I never thought it. I thought the Flashdance would have done it, but 40 years later, here we are talking about Christine. Incredible.
Well, it's going to be another great day tomorrow. Malcolm's going to be in the field all day long, having fun with Abe, looking at cars. He actually has a Moochie's Choice trophy tomorrow. If you want to come up and do any of the pictures, because we're going to lose sunlight if you want to get a picture with the car. And Folsom Prison finally get a little sound check in here. So you guys having a good time so far in this little weekend? Big hand, by the way, to Matt Horn, who brought the replica, beautiful Christine car back here.
Yes,
Give a nice hand.
Thank you.
So come on up. You want to tell them the price real quick before we shut the mics down? Or?
We had a great cruise tonight, and I'm looking forward to meeting you guys tomorrow, or probably a lot more people. And thank you for coming out here to meet me. I really appreciate it. But I'm sure you're here to see more of the cars.
But come on up. You're going to do that. Coming up, Folsom Prison 5.